Hello YouTube, this is Alexander again. Today I want to talk about this little project I have since few days or maybe some few weeks to be honest. And this project will help when you connect your computer to the main. My computer has a very big power supply, something like 800 watts, and when it's disconnected from the main, when you connect it, the current draw is so much important that it's cut the circuit breaker. And it can cause some issue if you have some sensitive devices connected to the main. And of course, some devices need to be switched off by the button on the front panel and not to disconnect it by the circuit breaker or by disconnected the plug. So what I want to tell here is when I connect my computer to the main, the outlet is completely disconnected from the main. So because on my bench, when I leave my bench, I like when all my device will be disconnected. So also my computer is disconnected from the main. So what I want to do here to connect my computer without cutting the circuit breaker is to make a little circuit, a very simple circuit, to give a soft start for charging the capacitor on the supply on the computer without making this current draw so important that it cut the circuit breaker. So what you need to know about this idea is the capacitors which are in your power supply. When you connect it directly to the main without soft start, this way to do is not good for your capacitors. So the wear of your capacitors depend from the frequency that you use directly your capacitors and connect it to the main. When capacitor is connected to the main, it has a very high current draw, and this high current draw reduce the life scale of your capacitors. So also this device can give some results about the life scale of your power supply of your computer, and of course can protect your outlet against high current draw, which are not the best way to use a current draw. Of course, your outlet sometimes is connected to another devices which you want not to disconnect if you have the cut of your circuit breaker. So what I want to show you here is the component you need to make this soft start for your computers. Of course, what you need to know with this little schematic, which is very simple schematic actually, you have this 1 kilo ohm resistor, which is here. This resistor is quite big, but for this little project you don't need so much big capacitors, so much big resistor, sorry. So this 1 kilo ohms resistor prevents a short circuit because actually when you connect your computer in this outlet here, you will have a short here, and the responsible are the hypothetical capacitors on your computers, exactly on your power supply, the power supply on your computers. So this circuit, because this resistor prevents a huge current draw and a progressive increasing of voltage on the outlet. And of course, what happens when the voltage reach a certain point, it connects this relay, and this this resistor will disappear in this circuit, because when the voltage rise a certain voltage, this relay will activate this switch, and this 1 kilo ohm resistor disappears on the circuit. So what happened here, when your computer is connected to this outlet, and you connected this plug directly by a switch or directly to the main, you will have little time to switch on your computer. You need to wait some few seconds, like 3, 4, 5 seconds before switching on your computers. So of course here, unfortunately, I don't have this 220 volts relay. I have only on my stock. On my stock I have this 110 volt DC relay, and I have not this perfect value. So because I have not this value here, I just make another schematic with the component I have. It's exactly the same, but you have here a little power supply. This little power supply is able to feed this 110 volts relay, and this little power supply is the little circuit you can see here. This little circuit, very little circuit, is a current generator coming from this kind of lamp here. Actually, this is a LED tube, and this kind of power supply is inside the tube for supplying the LED inside. So this is a supply coming from a dead neon tube, and it can be very useful in this case to supply this relay. So for it to be simple, when you connect your computer directly, you connect this plug directly to the main. The rising current is very soft, and it prevents about the circuit breaker to cut all the devices connected to the same plug. So for this I have here this little box, which is, I think, enough to put all the components in place. Of course, I need to bend a little bit this leads here to put this, because actually here there is no enough room for that. So I have this outlet, sorry, and I have not another outlet, but this one is a very nice quality, and it can be perfect for this project, because actually this project will be very serious, and you need this plug, this relay. The perfect relay will be a relay supplied with 220 volts alternative, but I have only 110 volts DC relay. Some wire, some big wire for the main, and some little wire, thin wire for the little current for driving this relay. And of course you need French coffee in an English cup. And so your best friend in this project is the glue gun. This is the best tool for the 8 degrees engineer, not? I told you. So to begin well, you need to see how you can put your device on it, and of course what I think is to put it like that. Okay, if I put it like that, I need to bend actually the leads of this relay. This is not very fair actually, but just it's a tinkering story, you know. This is not for the NASA project. Just bend it like that, and it will be enough for to win some room. Okay, just like that. And of course you need to try each step. You need to try if it will fit correctly the room inside, and it's perfect. So okay. And of course this little power supply will take this little place here. So now, according to the schematic, I am going to connect the plug with the resistor to the outlet, and connect the power supply to the coil, and let's see how it does.
I remember walking on set and see like Smallville basically destroyed, you know, in front of me with his cape. But just the fiction, and this my character is responsible for it, was an amazing feeling, and
It was a lot of fun having the wires because there was so much that needed to be done. It just took more time, and it was important.
Western bar brawl.
Okay, this is the wire for the coil, for the command, and this is the wire for the main. As you can see here, when the relay is connected to the supply, it switches on these two wires between them. They short circuit the two wires to make the resistance disappearing. So here it is, the device nearly finished. So need to connect the plug, and need to make an hypothetical supply here for to test it, the delay.
humbling was the first thing we designed, because I felt that if we could show the studio what the Batmobile was in our world, they'd get a handle on what everything else would be. I felt that we needed a new contemporary approach in order to believe in the utility of this vehicle. So what I proposed was a cross between a Lamborghini and a Humvee, something that would have the presence of almost a tank-like vehicle, but also with the speed and grace of a sports car.
Just as airplane flaps generate
The final device. So I will put my microphone on it, and you will okay. The simple thing with this, it's when you connect your computer directly to the main, you will have a big spark on the plug. But with this, you will not have any spark anymore. It's charge softly your power supply, and you will not have a brutal current and a spark which can destroy resistors, capacitors, fuse on your power supply. So here it is, the device connected on the main, and it works very nice. And so because I currently use this switch to disconnect my computer, when I switch off the computer, I disconnect here to prevent any damage, because I take some precaution. So now I will not have the problem of disrupting the circuit breaker of the main, and of course this device will help you to prevent the short life of your power supply on your computer, because it prevents capacitors about huge charging. And it's very nice to use this kind of device to make more longer the life scale of your power supply and disconnect it from the main when you don't need it. So it works perfectly. Okay, it was Alexander again. I hope you like this video, and see you soon.